Teresa Dream, and I just wanted to come to you to talk to you about mindset development and how important it is to develop our minds. Sometimes in life, we go through trials and tribulations where we may lose ourselves. We may think that what we want to do is not possible. But we have to remember that all things are possible through God who gives us strength, through Christ who strengthens us. All things are possible. So you cannot give up on yourself. You cannot give up on your dream. You have to keep going. You have to keep thinking. That includes praying, visualization, affirmations, watching encouraging videos. There's so much encouraging videos here on YouTube that you want to take part in your own self-evolution. You want to continue to go further and further in life despite what you've been through. We all have been through many things. I myself have been through many circumstances where some people thought I wasn't going to bounce back. Sometimes I've even questioned, is what I want in life accessible or obtainable to me? And yes, it is obtainable. Yes, you can do it, but you have to believe. You have to believe in yourself. And you have to get yourself to a place of clarity, a place of peace, whether that means you need to pack up and move to another state, whether that means you need to go stay in the shelter so you could get adequate housing, if that means that you need to go into a different career path so you can have some peace of mind, if that means that you have to leave people behind and not be worried about what they think so you can evolve and grow for yourself. If you don't put yourself first, who's gonna put you first? You have to put yourself first. You have to know that you're important enough to go back to school. You're important enough to get that education. You're important enough to get that job. You're important enough to work for yourself if that's what you choose to do. Sometimes we think that we cannot do these things, that we have so much against us, and that's true. As Black people, as all people, we have, especially those who come through from low income, incarceration, foster care, broken families, living in poverty. We have a lot against us, but we can rise. You don't have to be what anybody says you are. You can be who you want to be. And it starts with getting to a place of peace. Before I was going through so many different living situations, times where I didn't even have a stable living situation. And today I'm at peace. I live alone. I don't have that husband that I want in my life yet, or those kids, but I have peace with where I live, And that's important when you can wake up and feel safe. If you don't feel safe in your neighborhood, maybe it's time for you to leave the neighborhood. Maybe it's time for you to go to a place where you can feel safe, or make a plan of exit so you can get there. And for some, that means that you're going to have to go to a whole nother different place where nobody knows you so you can start over. Some people can flourish in their hometowns. I was driven out by high rents in New York City and Harlem. I couldn't afford to live on my own at that point with what I was making. So I had to think of other ways to further myself. Another thing I want to talk about is tuning out distractions. And distractions can be, music. For me, that was a huge part of my life. I grew up surrounded by the hip-hop industry. I grew up as a part of the hip-hop industry, being a rapper, singer, and producer. And, when I was working in my own business, doing hair, makeup, and stuff like that, I was successful. But when I decided to take my career in music really seriously, around the age of 19, that's when my life started to derail. I started to have a lot of issues, and because of not just the hip-hop industry, because it's not just the hip-hop industry, but it's the things that come along with living that lifestyle. It's not just the music. It's the things that come along when you are truly living a hip-hop lifestyle. When you are, I was constantly smoking weed. Not constantly, but I was smoking, and it was a daily thing. It was a part of my life since the age of 12. And now I stand in front of you 2 years sober from marijuana. Yes, I may go out and have a drink once in a blue, but I don't even drink that often. My peace comes from God, and peace comes from mental clarity and my surroundings, keeping my area peaceful. Keeping my household peaceful where I could come back and have a quiet day at home. I don't have to be concerned with loud noise and stuff, constant police sirens, things like that. I don't have to be worried about that. And it took a long time to get to that level. But you can get there too. And it takes sacrifices, it takes sacrifices. But back to my journey, I was going through a lot of mental health difficulties, I was going through a lot of mental health difficulties, and in my opinion, it was caused by my constant marijuana use. In addition to living the hip hop lifestyle, which led me into crime, combated with going through on and off jobs where, I was deciding, should I do my music career or should I get a job? And in points where I wasn't working, I had a job at Wells Fargo in the call center, and I was living on my own for a while. But when I turned back to living that hip hop lifestyle, because I was living that lifestyle, I was living a life where I was boosting. I was committing, crimes. I was doing things that weren't me. I wasn't valuing myself and my own sexuality. I was, having sex with groupies and, just things that I shouldn't have did. And I look back on those years, and I'm telling you this to tell you that this is my testimony, and I want to share my testimony because I don't know who's on the other side of the screen. I don't know who's on the other side of this computer. I don't know what you may have went through to bring you to where you are today, but you're watching this video for a reason. And I want to inspire you that, people before me have made it. Every day I see stories of people who have achieved things. And that's what drives me. People who look like me, who have achieved things, who have achieved great things. And I started saying, I want my life back. And if my life means, I was court ordered to go to a drug program for marijuana. I was court ordered to go to a drug program. And I went to outpatient 5 times a week via Zoom. Changed my life. I let go of the marijuana. I no longer hang around with people who smoke weed. If you smoke weed, that's you. I choose not to be around it. Can I walk past it? Can I be around it for a second? Yeah, I could be around it. It's not going anywhere. Marijuana is legal. It's here. I chose to not put people that use. I can't have you in my life. If you use, I can't have you in my life. I value my life, my sanity, my sobriety more than somebody that wants to be in my life using. I'm sorry, I just do. And that's how you have to be. Whether it's any type of drug, you have to be willing to let go of the drugs. I'm telling you, there's a life without drug use, and it's so beautiful. When you start getting into self-care and, getting back to going for your goals, touching on that subject, I want to let you know that there's more than one way to get to making a lot of money. Making a lot of money is not just for athletes, people in music, actors, or people that have went necessarily to college. College is a great place to go to expand your mind, but it's not for everybody. There's trades such as automotive technology, cosmetology, nail technician, esthetician, construction, welding. These are trades that you can utilize to get into your own business. You can also work for somebody else until you have enough money to go in your own business. You could just work for somebody else and make a decent salary. Make a good salary so you can live, or you can transform those skills into your own personal brand, into your own personal company. I know people who have taken those skills from trade school and gone on to be very successful in life. Very successful. And it's doable. Even with that, even if you do a trade, let's say you get a trade in cosmetology, you might want to take some marketing classes. You might want to take some accounting classes. You don't have to stop with your you don't have to put your learning in a box. You don't have to feel like, oh, I'm learning this and I'm just gonna work for somebody, or it's not gonna be fun. Anything that you want to do, you have to think back to when you were a child. When you were a child, what was that one thing that you wanted to do? For me, I said I want to be an artist. Now, within the art category, there are multiple ways to be an artist. So I'm a licensed cosmetologist, I'm a certified makeup artist, and I'm learning the skills to go into fashion design. So I'm getting back to what passions make me healthy, because music was also a form of art. Modeling for me was also a form of art. I still enjoy modeling and I still want to do it, but I don't want to work for an agency. People think working for an agency is the greatest thing. To be on somebody else's time schedule, for somebody else to tell me that I have to maintain a certain size, which I want to be healthier, and I'm working on getting back to being my healthiest place in life. We all should strive to be healthy. But to have a person tell me I must maintain a size and be an inch or two from that size at all times, that puts unnecessary stress on me. For some people, it's a great career. Modeling is a great career. It can open a lot of doors for you, especially if you want to get into the fashion industry. However, it's not for everybody, because you have to think about that. I know models that go on vacation with their scales, with their measuring tape. I had the chance to model for an agency. They were going to pay me $2,000 a week. There's good money in that. There's really good money in modeling, but you don't want to have in life is too short for me, in my opinion. Life is too short to go through living by somebody else's rules. I gotta clock in when you want me to clock in. I gotta clock out when they want you to clock out. And that's okay if the conditions that you need to live are being met. If you feel happy, if you can go to work and you can step into work and say, yeah, I feel good today. If you're not feeling good at work, it's time for you to decide how you can go about living your life more authentically. So for me, modeling wasn't that. For me, hip-hop wasn't that. It wasn't that for me, because it's constantly around drug use, and that, not even hip-hop, just the music industry in general. It's constantly around people who utilize drugs, and I don't want to be in that lifestyle anymore. I still have my cigarette addiction, which I'm working on breaking, but besides that, and an occasional drink once in a blue. I don't have a problem with alcohol, never did. But besides that, I don't want to be around that, I don't want to have, people that, I had an ex-boyfriend of mine, somebody I really did love, somebody I really did care about. I met his family, he was a good-hearted person. He was a singer. I was doing my rapping and singing. We met in Hollywood. We had a relationship. And we broke up. I went back to New York for a little while, came back to Los Angeles, found out he got killed in the park. These are some of the circumstances that happen when we live in these dangerous artistic realms. Modeling is dangerous with the mindset and the body image and the constant body checking. And then music can be dangerous in hip-hop can be dangerous in the fact that some people take it to the extreme, and it just, I could go on for that. That's a whole nother video about certain things within the hip-hop industry and black culture, and I'm not down in that, because there is good music out there, or at least there was really good music out there where people were talking about something. Now I feel like we've kind of got away from that, but we still need to be listening to things to entertain us. That's why now I listen to jazz. I listen to inspirational music. I never thought I'd be a person that listens to jazz. But I listen to jazz. I like certain parts of jazz. I don't like all parts of jazz, but I do listen to jazz. I listen to inspirational messages on YouTube. I listen to podcasts if I can. I haven't really found a podcast that's working for me, but I do try to stay inspired. I read books, and I'm going back to college. So, we have to take these steps in our everyday life. I also have attended 12-step groups, For some people, those really work. For me, that didn't work. I prefer one-on-one therapy or a support group where I can go in and check in and physically be there with other people and see them. For some people, the 12-step groups is a great place. You get to find out about your higher power. You get to go through the steps. You have a sponsor. Some people can use that type of support. But you have to find whatever it is that's going to get you to the point where you want to be in life, whatever that is. If that's financial stability, housing stability, a family, we all have our priorities and things that mean the most to us at specific times in our lives. And that's what you have to prioritize. You have to write down your 1-year goal, your 3-year goals, your 5-year goals. You have to write out where you want to be 10 years from now as that person. I want to be married. I want to be a multi-millionaire. You have to write that out. Your dream, you have to write it out. You have to start to put images. In my apartment, I have images all over the place of me at a better weight when I was happier. That's one. I have pictures of a mansion. Not that I want a mansion. I don't have to live with that much. I don't have to have a big mansion, but I would like to have a big house because one of my goals is to foster kids to adopt children. I'd like to have children as well, but I don't know if that's going to happen for me, and I'm okay with that. We have to be, sometimes God knows what's best for us. And I know that when I was young growing up, I'm an only child. And, one of the things that I always wanted was a deeper family connection. My family connection has been fragmented, as a lot of us. So one of the things that I wanted for myself was to have a good family bond with my husband. I want to get married, and I wanted to have children. I don't know if children are in my future. I'm 35 years old, so I have to be realistic. But I was always drawn to foster kids or adoption. And then I ended up committing a crime at the age of, I was 15. And I got sent to a facility that housed foster kids. And through these kids, I was able to see their struggles, their triumph, their strength. And it just let me see that, this is for me. To take a kid out of a situation that could be much worse and show them love, show them a better life. That's a great thing. And that's another thing that I want to lead to in this video, that sometimes the things that we think we want, like we want the perfect body, we want, the perfect income that we think is perfect. Sometimes you don't need all that to get you to where you need to be. You just need to be accepting of your circumstances and find what you can do within your means. You have to find, like, maybe it's not being a multi-millionaire, but maybe it's having enough money where you never want. In a prayer, it says, I'm trying to think of the prayer that I'm trying to say. I'm not so good with quoting the scripture yet. I'm not trying to be one of those preachers, but I am trying to quote the scripture. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. What if you could live that, where all your needs are met? You may not have, I had jewelry. I don't want that anymore. Jewelry causes too much attention. It's just, and I'm not going to spend money on jewelry. I'd rather invest in causes that are meaningful to me, and it's save for myself in the future, my retirement, to take care of my housing needs, to have a car to drive, to get food and groceries and clothing and get around from point A to point B. You don't need all of the fancy things, the jewelry, the expensive cars, the big house even. I told God the other day, I said, if you want me to rent an apartment, for the rest of my life, I would be happy. The only concern that I have is I know that it bothers me when my neighbors do certain things, So that's why I would like to move into a house or a townhouse. And plus, I like the extra space for the kids that I want to adopt when I have my future husband, you know? So, that's just what I wanted to share with you, just a little bit of my testimony, and to tell you that sometimes you don't need what glitter, all that glitters is not good, you know? It's not. You could find a woman with the perfect body and everything, and she be hell. She doesn't even know how to raise your kids. Yeah, some things may be good, like the sex. Some things may be good, like you get a lot of good feeling when you walk with her and stuff like that down the street, because everybody's looking. You may feel a certain way, but you know, and I'm not down to sex. I think that people should have good sex, you know, but it's just, you know, is she gonna take care of your kids the right way? If you had kids with this woman, is she gonna take care of your kids? Is she after your money? You know, is she she's selfish? Is she a combative woman who's gonna argue with you, and you're gonna feel like coming home isn't good? You know, as a man, for my women, you know, for women, it's just like, you know, you don't have to have everything perfect. Work on developing yourself, work on developing your skills, and love will come when it's supposed to. You know, we can all strive to be better, but don't force things. Don't settle for less. Men or women, don't settle for less. Settle for what is right for you, what feels good in your heart, what you think you can deal with for the rest of your life, because these are life decisions that we're making. You never know if the person that you lay down with, you might end up having a kid. The condom could break, things could happen. Is that the life that you want to live, to be on child support? Is that the life you want to live, to have to be a single mother? You know, I know as women, as men, we have a need to want to procreate. That's what we are meant to do, to procreate. But we're supposed to be equally yoked. It talks about that in the Bible, being equally yoked. You don't want to get with somebody equally yoked in a faith, yes, but you don't want to be with somebody and you have nothing in common. You can't have conversations. They're not being productive. You're stuck in the same situation. One can't help the other. The list goes on and on and on. You want to break these cycles. So I want you to take a pledge today to break generational curses in your life, to break all curses in your life, to know that you can do amazing things. It doesn't matter where you are right now. It doesn't matter what you have going on. Today is the day that you break free from all that is holding you back. And I'm not saying any of the other things that I've been through as a I'm here and you're there, or I'm better. No, we are all human beings. We are equal. And I don't mean to bring race into it, but being a black woman, you know, I have seen the things that black people go through, as well as Latino people go through in the community, because I have lived alongside them. I have Latino friends, and I understand that we go through so much, and it's time for us to heal. And I'm not being racist, I'm just saying the facts. It is what it is. So I would like you to make today the day that you do something for yourself, and that includes education, self-discovery, self-love, self-acceptance, and I hope you have a good day.